Welcome to another episode of the Visitor Podcast. As promised, in this episode, we'll go over the vitamin stack. Now, you're going to hear physicians say, and your own physician might be one of these, that we don't really need vitamins. We'll get everything out of our nutrition. Bullocks, BS, all right? They haven't been educated in nutrition. They haven't been educated in exercise physiology. They don't know what they're talking about, okay, on this subject matter. Research has shown, without a doubt, that we need to supplement. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go over the specific vitamins and protocols that have been researched that we know for sure give you the benefit, okay? Because we don't want to survive. We want to thrive. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to start with basically saying this. You do have to clean up your nutrition, all right? You have to exercise, and we talked about this, resistance exercise. There needs to be some cardiovascular work in there also. And then throw in your stability, throw in your different joint movements, make sure that you can get off the ground quick. So you need some agility work. You need some mind-body control so you can do your different sports. And if you're doing sports, do some sport-specific work also. At the top end. Minimum, I need you to do resistance exercise 3 times a week. Minimum. And then do cardio zone 2, do cardio zone 5. Combine those two. The zone 5, I would like to see it 3 times a week, maybe twice a week if you don't have the time. That's for the visceral fat, remember that, sprinting, very short, max heart rate. And then you can do HIITs if you want. And then your zone 2, make sure that you do that 4 times a week, 5 times a week, get it in there. Okay, with your nutrition, you need to eat clean. You need to keep your weight healthy, meaning your fat levels need to be down, muscle level up, all right? So you need to work on that. And we've had a couple of episodes on that, how we do that. How we do that in extreme cases, how we do that naturally, how we can manage it with food intake, and what kind of foods that we need to be taking in. And our sleep, of course. 7 hours minimum of sleep, quantity and quality. Make sure you get sunlight in your face first thing in the morning, so you set your circadian rhythm, your clock, and make sure you get your sleep. If you don't get your sleep, all this is gone. All right? So let's start with the stack that I would recommend. Okay. Creatine, 5 grams, 5 times a week. This is really for when you're training. If you're above 60, you need to be taking creatine for mental acuity and cognitive decline. So creatine, whether it's for your body and your muscles, whether it's for your brain, you need to be taking it. So it's a must. Protein powder, yes, we need to be able to make 1.6 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of ideal body weight a day. And sometimes, especially if you're doing just 7 hours of feeding, which I recommend, sometimes you can't get it in there. So protein powder is a good way to make sure that you get your, and it's whey protein, to get your daily requirements in of protein. Critical for protein synthesis, critical for muscle repair, critical for everything we do. Okay, Trimethyl Glycine, TMG, or Betaine, okay, 500 grams. And this is depression, insulin levels, heart health. You need to be taking this as part of that group. And also athletic performance. So that's the athletic performance, mental acuity group. Now let's go more to the vitamin mineral stack. So we have a study, Cosmos Mind Study, 2022. Multivitamins show to slow brain aging. And this is the best study. Now, there's been studies before where they've looked at specific things, inflammation of the brain, inflammation of the body, what do vitamins have, and they've showed no difference. But these are old studies. These are studies in 2005, 2003, 2002. The way we study stuff, the way they've put together the groups, the way how many people have been included in these studies have all changed and gotten better. Okay, so now we can truly see that vitamins, multivitamin stack, really makes a big difference. Okay, so the ones, and in this multivitamin, multimineral thing that you might be taking, it might be a pill, it might be AG1 as in a powder form, it's up to you. Okay, I need you to have the big ones in there. What are the big ones? B3 needs to be in there. You need to be taking D3 3000 international units. If it's not enough in there, supplement extra with that. You need to have K2, you need to have zinc, 50 milligrams at least. You need to have magnesium in there, and this all to ensure cognitive decline. Now, besides that, I want you to do omega-3 fatty acids. Yes, this is extremely important. Heart protective health and for your muscles. Research has shown this unequivocally. There's no ifs or buts about it. Omega-3 fatty acids, and that is EPA, DHEA, 2 tablets daily, and this is really fish oils, okay? Fish oils specifically. So this is super important. Next thing we're going to go to the fiber stuff. Psyllium Husk, daily fiber intake. It's a must. We want to decrease our LDL levels. We want to increase and basically optimize our gut bacteria. So this is very important to have for both of those. I do have to throw a little caveat in here. With gut health, I want you to be also eating fermented foods, which is critical for that. Okay, so next, GlyNAC, 1 milligram a day. And this really to keep, in short, we have a good list, so I'm not going to go too deep in it, but GlyNAC really keeps inflammation down. And we need to keep the inflammation in our body down. Next, I'm going to have DHEA. It's a precursor, 50 milligrams for hormonal health. And hormonal health, testosterone, estrogen, it tends to optimize it as long as we have it. Now, with hormonal health, there's a whole other thing we're going to go through. You really need to, if you're premenopausal, you need to be with your doctor, checking your hormonal health and getting hormone replacement therapy. If you're a male and you're starting to get symptoms of low testosterone and everything else, you need to go in there, you need to get it. That's a different topic. The other, I think, a separate category that I've made here. So those are your mains, okay? Boom, we're done. But a separate category that I think is very important, face. We look in the mirror, we see ourselves, and one of our biggest signs is aging in our face, because when we're dressed and everything, you can fake the dress and fake the clothes and get a nice suit, but your face is out there, your neck, your face is out there. I think it's good to do something about it. And if we look at the research, these are the things that really can make a difference in your face and really reverse face aging. And that is collagen peptides, 10 milligrams a day. Hyaluronic acid, 200 milligrams a day. Those three are the big hitters. And then use sunscreen every day. Even if it's low sun, use sunscreen. The sunscreen, you're going to have to do a little research on there. I like a bigger molecule sunscreen so it doesn't go in, it stays on the surface. But sunscreens have shown not to be that toxic. And if you go completely natural sunscreen, you're not going to get the protection that the other one gives, the artificial one. Look into it, but sunscreen every day has shown really to reduce the aging of the skin. Okay, so those are the three. Now, you want to go a step further. You're done with those, you got your basics in, you go, okay, listen, I'm getting ready to activate my Sirtuins, my longevity genes. What does David Sinclair use? What does Peter Attia use? What does the big guys in the aging, anti-aging, or that's a bad word, longevity field, age management field? Okay, these are the compounds. Resveratrol from red wine, 500 milligrams, specifically age reversal. So activating the Sirtuins. You got Fistine Pro, 125 milligrams. This is brain inflammation reduction, extension of life. Then we have Spermidine, 1 gram, stabilizing the epigenome, autophagy, and enhanced immunity. Okay, that's what you get with Spermidine. So it's 1 gram a day. And you see these guys, they're all using it. They've all done their initial research on it. Now there's also one more, Quercetin. It's a polyphenol, 500 milligrams. The research isn't as strong on it for humans, but it's something that someone like Dr. David Sinclair out of Harvard uses in his stack. Okay, so we get to the prescription part of the story, and then we're talking, not all of them, but I had an episode, 2 episodes ago, I talked about M&M, NR, Metformin, Rapamycin, and looking at these and looking at what the research has up to now. Based on that, I have to scratch out NMN, NR, because we have 2 issues there. One is with the recycling and the levels of NAM, PT going down, and that recycling process not really working efficiently. And no matter how much NMN the NAD you pour in there, it's not going to work more efficiently and better. And the other part being the chronic inflammation that we get with just the level of the CD38 that is higher. So that produces chronic inflammation, which makes the mitochondria inefficient, which basically you can pour in NAD, fuel, but it's not going to give you more ATP. So because of that, up to now, we got to resolve those problems before I do an okay on the NMN. As long as that's not resolved, don't take it. Metformin, we've seen, initially as a protection, as age management and everything, but what we're seeing is that it's really damaging the mitochondria by doing oxygen depletion. I'm saying it real short here, around the mitochondria, and that's how it gets the mTOR to drop. So that mechanism doesn't really suit someone that's working out, trying to maintain their muscle, trying to maintain protein synthesis, and trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Yes, metformin is out. Rapamycin, on the other hand, if you're in your 50s, and this is a drug that is heads and shoulders above the rest. Why? It's gyroprotective. So it's based on, it's going to start protecting you against all age-related diseases, chronic diseases, cancers. And it's really the one that is protective so that we don't, when you die of age-related diseases, this is how when we get older and our body just gets more susceptible to that. This protects you. So this, yes, I would take, absolutely. So that's the stack. I know it's a little overwhelming. Start where you can and really look at the basics first. Get into it slowly, and as you move along, you get comfortable with it, and you really say, okay, it's time for me to get this longevity thing a step higher up. Start doing it and just start going down the list. So hope this helps. And remember, we're going for thriving, not surviving. See you next time. Great. We're going to do some workouts in the gym. I'm going to keep it light because I need to do some light content too. All right? Take care. See you soon. Subscribe, ring the bell notification, and let's get this channel growing. Come on. I need it at 1K just to be relevant. Let's go.